So we're going to talk about dimensional analysis, and it takes the guesswork out of which operation to use by creating a fraction with two different units that represent the same amount of something. Since the two amounts will be the same, the value of the fraction is 1. You can flip the fractions over and they'll still represent the same length or amount of time. They are called conversion fractions. So if we're looking at 12 inches is equal to 1 foot, 1 minute equals 60 seconds, and 2.54 centimeters equals 1 inch. Now, I can flip it over and they're still equal to 1. That's just a version of what it could look like. We're going to use these to convert some increments of measurement of time, measurement of distance, and different types of distance. Now, if you're in my course, depending on which course you're in, you need to show this work. So make sure you're not skipping steps. When my students try to skip steps, they don't do as well. So here we go with example 1. So we want to convert 25 feet to centimeters. So we're going to start with feet. We have 25 feet and we want to go to centimeters. Now we were given a few increments on there, and there's a few that you should probably know. I can't go feet to centimeters. I can if I go figure it out on a calculator, but the whole point of this is not to go to the calculator to start with. Let's go feet and get to centimeters. I don't know how many centimeters are in a foot, but I know how many inches are in a foot. When you're multiplying these, you want to do fractions, and you can set this up a couple of ways. For some of you, it might be easier if you put this over 1 so you can see that that's at the top. You don't have to do this part, but for some it helps. Some people like to draw the bars in between and just make up a grid. Either way, what you want to be sure that you do is if the feet are at the top, feet have to come down here so we can cancel out the feet. We want to cancel out the increments we don't want so we can get to the ones we do want. So in 1 foot, how many inches are there? Well, there are 12 inches. And then I can go from inches, and inches have to be on the bottom now, so it will cancel to centimeters. And I was told on our handout that for 1 inch, there are 2.54 centimeters. Now, what I want you to notice here is feet and inches then cancel, and we're left with the centimeters. So now I am left with our 25 times our 12 times our 2.54 and just our centimeters, which is what we were looking for. When I multiply that out, I get 762 centimeters, and that would be our final answer. And you need to include that increment on there so that you know what you're looking at. All right, let's look at example 2. We are going to convert 2 feet per second to miles per hour. So here we have 2 increments going on. We have the feet, the distance, and we have a time value. So we need to write this as we know it. It is 2 feet per 1 second. This time we actually have a value on the bottom. If you don't, you can just write it over 1 because every number is over 1, so you can follow the math a little easier. Now, I have to choose which way I'm going to go. I'm going to address the feet first, and then I'll go to the time. So feet, and I need to go to miles. Do we know how many feet are in a mile? Well, I had a student a couple of semesters ago that taught me that the number of miles or feet per mile is 5 tomatoes. It's 5280, 5 tomatoes. So 5280. If you can remember that, you'll know that there are 5,280 feet in 1 mile. So I have canceled out my feet, and I've gotten to the mile, which is what I want. Now I need to get from seconds to hours. So I know that I need to have seconds up here, and I can go from seconds to minutes. We want to do the proper increments. So there is how many seconds in 1 minute? There are 60 seconds in a minute. So I have the seconds canceled. Now I need to get from minutes to hours. So that means the minutes has to be on top for them to cancel. They can't cancel side by side. They have to cancel at an angle. So minutes per hour, well, in 1 hour there are 60 minutes. So now my minutes are canceled, and I have miles per hour. So now I can do the math. So up here I have a 2 times a 60 times a 60 divided by, I don't have to put the ones because anything times 1 is 1, 5280. And on the top I have miles, and on the bottom I have hours. So everything is looking really good here. I just have to multiply my top. So in the top, 2 times 60 times 60 would be 7,200 miles per 5280 hours. So that'll get me 1.36 miles per hour. So if you have to do 2 increments, just do one set, then do the other. All right, let's go on to example 3. So we want to convert 3,495 yards, or 3,495 yards, and we want to take it to miles. So I'm going to start with my 3,495 yards. Now in this one, I don't have yards per anything, so I can write a 1 underneath that so that I know that it's the top of my fraction. And I don't know how many yards are in a mile, but I have learned that there's 5 tomatoes, or 5,280 feet in a mile. So I can go from yards to feet. So in 1 yard, there are 3 feet. So my yards have canceled. Now I need to cancel feet and go to miles. So feet has to come here, and miles go above. So there's 5,280 feet in 1 mile. So now I have canceled out the feet. I have gone from my yards over to the miles. So on the top, I have 3,495 times 3 miles. And on the bottom, I only have 5,280. And there's no increment because they are all canceled. So this will get me 10,485 miles divided by 5,280, which will take me down to 1.99 miles. All right, let's look at example 4. So for example 4, we are going to convert 3.5 hours to seconds. So again, I start with what I'm given, so 3.5 hours over 1 times, I need to go to hours, I got to convert hours. I know how many minutes are in an hour, so I can go from hours to minute. So I have 1 hour to 60 minutes. So the hours are canceled. I'm trying to get to seconds, so minutes will come down on the bottom, and I can take minutes to seconds. So in 1 minute, there are 60 seconds. So now my minutes are canceled, and I'm gone from hours to seconds. So now I have 3.5 times 60 times 60 divided by nothing, right? There's nothing down here. Everything is canceled, so I really don't need to draw a line at all. I can just go to the seconds. When I multiply that out, I get 12,600 seconds, and that would be my final answer. Sometimes it helps when you box your answer, so it's easy to be found. All right, let's do one more. So we will convert, this will be example 5. We're going to convert 8 feet to inches. So this one will be a short one. If we have 8 feet over 1 times, I know feet has to go on the bottom for the feet to cancel, and I can go feet straight to inches. So I don't have to do a lot of increments on here. I know from 1 foot has 12 inches, so I end up with 8 times 12 inches, nothing in the bottom, which will get us 96 inches. And that would be your final answer.